What's going on YouTube? This is Hamlet House coming back at you with another gun review, and today we're going to be taking a look at my Stemple STG-76, otherwise known as the Stemple 76/45 submachine gun. All of these reviews that I'm doing on my channel are owned personally by me. I do not take any donations, nor do I do gun reviews on weapons that I do not personally own. Jumping right into things, I'm going to take you here to the rear. I have had this weapon returned to BRP Corp by Brian Poling, who's the president of BRP Corp down in Georgia, and I had him modify the submachine gun that I have here. There was a wooden HK buttstock that was obviously right here, what you see in front of you, taken off, and a collapsible buttstock put in place. And I also had the barrel shroud threaded to accept the forward pistol grip underneath the M37 barrel shroud for the STG-76. In addition to, I had them also thread a barrel for my Stemple suppressor 9mm, and I will be doing a future review for that, obviously in the future, coming up soon for you. And what we have here, I'm going to start back here at the rear, is I had purchased a Rifle Dynamics. This is a Krinkhoff actually, that was about, I want to say coyote brown, olive drab. It was a very light color, but they did not have any in black, so I decided to take a gamble for 50 bucks and actually purchase one. And I went ahead and cooked some up on the stove actually with some RIT dye, some black RIT dye. I think I did a double batch just to make sure that it would come out correctly, and I went ahead and cooked that sucker for about an hour or two, and she came out blacker than midnight. It was a really good actually experiment that kind of happened and turned out in my favor. But this is kind of an empty piece of real estate, if you will, on the Stemple guns, because it's a skeleton stock actually. If you take this off, you'll see how there's two pieces right here that come down, buttstock here, and then obviously a top cover, top piece, which have you. And so what I went ahead and do is, obviously with a zipper, I can go ahead and open it up and carry spare items in this pouch. I have my NFA paperwork, both for the submachine gun and the suppressor for it. I carry an extra battery, and let's see what else do I have over here. Actually, I got like I said, I got I have the NFA paperwork right here. I have the rubber eye caps for the red dot scope, which I'll get to in a second. I have the actual screw-on suppressor. Excuse me, this isn't a suppressor. A flash suppressor, and obviously a extra D-ring, if you will, for my M249 saw, courtesy of the United States Marine Corps many years ago, that I went ahead and put on the weapon. And I don't know if I added this or not. I can't remember. I'm sorry guys, but this is an extra Energizer battery for the optics, just in case it goes down. And you're going to keep everything nice and tight here in this rear stock, and it fits nice and neat, and it's out of the way. The only thing I do not like about it is that, obviously, because I'm a righty, I'm right-handed, is this folds into my chest. So obviously this will ride on your body armor or on your chest when you're running and gunning, so to speak. I wish it was more like an AK side folder, where it actually swings out here to the right, and it's obviously not in your way, but it's not a perfect world. So, but it is what it is. Right here I have this is basically a bunch of HK parts put on here. You guys can decide for yourself what exactly they are. I'm not too good on this stuff, but I do know that originally there was an HK rear buffer stock on the rear with obviously the pistol grip. You have the selector here, obviously in safe, semi, and then full auto, and then back to safe, obviously. I have here a Conus, which I want to say it's like a Buderis or something like that. I don't know. It's just something I picked up in my local hardware store for. It's a red dot sight, and it both comes in obviously the the red characteristics right here, and obviously the green, and then powers 1 through 5, you know, dim to very bright, with obviously a 1913 Picatinny rail that was mounted on top of the gun to take the original sights off, which this is one of my only guns I have a red dot on, actually, and I'm very impressed with it. I still need to zero it, haven't got around to it yet, but to do one of these days. I have here obviously the 50 round coffin magazine here on the bottom. This accepts obviously the 50 round coffin mags. It accepts obviously the 71 round drums, and then obviously the post-war World War II Swedish 36 round magazines as well. The drums work like a champ. Those things are so simple. As long as you keep them clean, you will have a lot of trigger time behind these things, and this thing is massive. There's a lot of firepower with this. The only downside with this rifle is that with everything you see here pretty much is about 10 to 11 pounds, and so it is a very, very heavy submachine gun. But the upside to that is you can beat the shit out of these guns and they will just keep on ticking. And just like Mr. Pulling told me at BRP Corp, when he went ahead and designed these guns, that he built the gun around the 9mm round, and so everything is basically overprotected with this weapon system, because basically it's like an armored tank. You're not gonna, it's like a Thompson M1A1 submachine gun. These things are just not going to go anywhere when you misuse them, mistreat them, abuse them, whatever. They're just absolutely phenomenal, and I've had very little malfunctions with these guns when I was excuse me, at the range. And I've obviously had a forward pistol grip here installed. I guess this is part of the kit that I sent back to Brian Pulling to install, along with the collapsible stock here. I had him add a forward hand grip to the barrel shroud, and I also had him make me a threaded barrel. I think this is the M37 barrel and the barrel shroud for the 9mm suppressor here. He went ahead and threaded that so I can obviously take the suppressor. Like I said, I'll be doing a review on that in the future. What I have here obviously is the NFA paperwork for obviously both the Stemple takedown gun and obviously for the Stemple suppressor. Obviously I blacked out all the pertinent information. Again guys, sorry, I just don't want you to know my business. And it's obviously front and back. There's a picture of my mug right there at the county jail, and everything's stamped, sealed, and delivered, and notarized, and all that good stuff for both, like I said, the submachine gun and the suppressor. So there's my paperwork right there in a nutshell. I'm going to move along here to the user manual for a second, because I want you guys to get a feel for all the different pertinent information on these things, because by you just pausing this video and able to take a look at the manual, you can obviously understand a lot more than what I can give you in detail on the voice video. Here's a breakdown view. There's the different parts of the gun. This is a user manual that came with it, and for the most part, it's about it. I mean, there's a couple odds and ends here. It gives you a history of the weapon design, what it was based around. I think it was the Smith & Wesson type gun, and then obviously Sweden had the M37 model. I can do obviously comment a little bit on this on the video on the bottom if anybody wants to get into detailed, obviously in the manual and whatnot. But people like me don't really give a crap about this stuff. I just want to go out in the range and have fun. But anyway, that's the user manual for the STG-76. And here's a little article that I had with, it's kind of a funny story. When I bought the gun, I thought I was buying the STG-76W, which is the Sumi copy, the KP31. Turns out, after talking with the old man from Arizona that I bought the gun from, it turned out to be the wrong rifle. And so since the payment was already sent, I bought the gun. The ATF paperwork had already been sent off, and it was in the pending status. By the time I found out it was the wrong gun that I bought, I said, oh, what the hell, let me just go ahead and keep things through, and let me see if I like this gun at all. and it turns out I like it very well in its own ways, and I got no complaints. I mean, I've shot it several times. It's a great gun. It's a good gun, and I've not had any regrets with it, really. It's just it's one of a kind. You know, I get a lot of questions at the range. Everybody always asks me, what's that type of gun? You know, what do you got there? And I'm like, it's a Stemple, and people always don't even know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of a good thing. You know, you stand out a little bit. Excuse me, guys. I gotta take a sip here. I'm getting cotton mouth again. All right, here's the paperwork that came with it. Obviously, with this guy over there from the guy that I bought from out in Arizona. This is just obviously some online stuff that he went ahead and printed out and gave me. There's some history behind this. It's actually the predecessor in some regards of the Czech ZK383 to some degree, which is a very fascinating rifle because it served during World War II, post-World War II, and Cold War eras, especially in Central and South America. And so if you enjoy a little bit of reading up, go ahead and do that, guys. It's good reading. These are the ads that were in Shotgun News back in, you know, circa 2010, 2011. I went ahead for just historical reasons. I went ahead and cut these out and just saved them with all the paperwork that I have. It's kind of a, I don't know, memento, if you will. But these are obviously both of these Stemple 76 45s that I have. Basically, the machine gun receiver right here on both the rifles is exactly the same thing. The only thing that's really different is the furniture. So basically, I have two guns of the same issuance, if you will, but just they look very differently. But basically, because of the machine gun receivers, they're exactly the same according to the ATF. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up with you guys. If you got any questions, go ahead and please leave some comments in the review box. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and add them, or I'm sorry, not add them, but answer them. And please click and subscribe if you don't mind. And then I want to give you a final shot with my bore light here, that you can kind of see obviously the inside of the suppressor with the different baffles. Again, I'll be doing a review of this in the future, and it's a very clean, very smart looking gun, other than it's obviously its weight, but it definitely packs a punch, guys. So please remember and remain behind every blade of grass.